Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and set up a Woodgrain file real quick so you can see how that is done. So we're gonna go ahead and open up in route. Open, double click. Yep. And go up here to the top. This little bar usually opens up. We don't need it. We'll just put it there for now. And open up a tab. That's the size of the table, that's our thickness. We can choose this later depending on our work order. We'll press OK. And then we'll go to File Import. And we'll just pick we're just going to use this random one as an example. Say this needs a Woodgrain file. So we're going to go ahead and go to Open. We'll import this. And we got this little 214 sign down here. So we'll do our typical routine. We'll highlight everything by clicking on the outside and dragging across. It's all highlighted. Your middle number should be red. You press F2 on your keyboard and then go to move. Oops, go to move. As you can see, it's not completely squared with the table, so when we're editing, before we cut, we want to make sure that it's zeroed out. And then once you're done editing, you can add the 1/4 inch on, or 1/2 inch, or whatever you prefer. So that's zeroed out. Press OK. It's zeroed out X and Y. I'm going to exit out of this. What we're going to want to do is make a few copies of this. I just do that just in case I need an extra copy to glue some tool pads. So I dragged and copied that, Control C, and go up here to our tab, and click this little tab here. Go to your cleared layer, and you can press Control Shift V, and yeah. Next thing you want to do is go to your import, go to your little drop down tab, go to jobs, files of type. You're going to want to make sure this is an STL file. That's what the Woodgrain sign is. So if this isn't selected, your Woodgrain file won't pop up. So now we can, after selecting STL, we can go to Jobs 2021, and it'll either be at the top or the bottom. So let's go to the bottom first, and it's right there. Woodgrain, WG, copy, don't delete. And this copy is also in Jobs 2020 if this one disappears. It should not though. Open. It's gonna load. Yep. And it'll pop up over here. And it'll pop up in a new layer too, so you can use this little icon to activate all layers and deactivate, just so you know which layer you're in. And then you go down to layer 3, and we're going to press F7, and we're going to just call it copy Woodgrain. Type as WG, and then we'll make this one the actual color, or we'll use this one as cut proof. And then I'll label this one as color proof. Okay. Good there. Make sure you always press OK to make it official, because if you don't, then this will just go back to normal. So we're going to go to our cut proof, and we want the inside to be the Woodgrain. So we're going to select the inside border, and we're going to go to our offset contour. Yep, offset close contour. And you see the green is what it's going to add onto it. We're going to make that our relief, but we want it to be a little bigger. So let's do 1/4 of an inch, just so it's big enough that we can select it. It doesn't need to be that big, I guess. Go down to an 1/8 inch. Yeah, that'll work. Press apply. Now this is going to be our relief, so we can go ahead and go to surface, create relief. And then we always want it to be flat, so we'll make sure that it's flat here. Always add to relief. These are our two best friends. Unless we're doing our own made up texture in the actual software, then this is what it'll be. If it's not, then you'll want a negative, yada yada. But flat, and then add to relief. Then we go to apply, and this is going to turn into a mesh. It's basically going to be dotted. There you go. No loading. Good. Close. Now we are going to take our wood grain and we're going to select it, and we're going to Control C, and we're going to leave that there for now. Actually, no, let's delete it. We don't need that because we have a copy of it now. We'll just use that extra tab to if we were to, here, I'll show you. So we're going to Control Shift V, and it's big enough to take up the whole sign. If it wasn't and we had to take layers and copy and paste all over the place, then we would select this afterwards and put it back in that other empty tab just for reference, just in case something needs to be changed. But it doesn't, so we're good here. So now that it's covering our relief and we want it where it's at, we're going to press F2, and we're going to go to move, and you want to do this for every single wood grain file that you open in your project. You always want to take out that negative, so we're going to press delete. Now it's 0.2553, and you want to make sure you do this every single time, and make sure you do it before you make copies of the wood grain, so you don't have to select each one individually and make this change. So it's good. 0.2553, we pressed OK, get out of that. Now what we're going to do is we have this highlighted, we're going to shift click and highlight this relief too. So here, let me shift, and we're going to click this. Now they're both highlighted. And what we're going to go ahead and do, there's this tiny little diamond right here. You're going to apply that mesh to that relief. Yep, apply mesh to relief, click. Make sure it's add to relief. Yep. Apply, and it's going to load, and it just loaded. Close. And click off of it. Now, since we don't really need this wood grain anymore, I'm gonna put it back where it was at. So Control Shift V and leave it there. I guess we could have done that from the start, but we didn't know if we were gonna need to make extra copies or not. So now we can take this one and delete it, and you can check to see if it copied the mesh on there by clicking this little light bulb. So rendered view is on. Now you can see that the mesh has been applied. Looks good. Go back, click it off. And now what you're going to want to do is select your relief, and you're going to have to make changes to this move too. So we're going to go F2. Your little tab's going to come up. You're going to want to go to move, and you're going to want to make this -0.2. -0.2. Press OK, and it's going to move your relief down so that when you apply the tool paths, it'll actually cut the wood grain, because if you don't, it won't. And another way you can check to make sure this did it right is keep your relief selected after making the changes, and double click your top, and all these other tabs will open. You're going to want to go to front view, so double click this one, and then it's still selected. You can press F2 and check your tab, and if it says -0.4548, or if it's in the ballpark, if it's close to this, then you've done your job right. It's okay. Yep, you can exit out of this. Oops. Maximize. And now you can go back to your front view. You can either press F12 or you can double click this and go to your top. Double click. Now, everything should be where it's supposed to be, so now it's ready to go. So last thing I like to do before I start making cuts and adding tool paths is to click and highlight